Imagine leaving Earth perfectly healthy and returning with weaker muscles, fragile bones, altered balance, and a year's worth of radiation damage. Mars might look like humanity's next home, but your body was designed for Earth, not for a freezing desert with almost no breathable atmosphere and only 38% of Earth's gravity. So, what would actually happen if you lived on Mars for 1 year? And would you still be able to walk when you returned home? First, you would have to survive the journey. A trip to Mars could take approximately 6 months. During that time, you would experience near weightlessness. Without gravity constantly pulling against your body, your muscles would not have to work as hard. Your legs, back, and core would begin losing strength. Your bones would also receive less mechanical stress, causing them to lose minerals. Astronauts exercise extensively in space to slow these effects, but exercise cannot make a spacecraft feel exactly like Earth. By the time you reached Mars, your body would already have spent months adapting to weightlessness. Then you would suddenly encounter gravity again, but only 38% of what you experience on Earth. If you weighed 180 pounds on Earth, you would feel as though you weighed roughly 68 pounds on Mars. Walking might initially feel strange. You could lift heavier objects and jump higher, but your coordination would need time to adjust. Your brain would have to relearn how much force to use for ordinary movements. We know that microgravity weakens bones and muscles, but nobody has lived for a year in Martian gravity, so scientists do not yet know precisely how much protection 38% gravity would provide. It might significantly reduce the damage caused by weightlessness, or it might not be enough to maintain an Earth-ready body. That uncertainty is one of the biggest problems facing future Mars explorers. Every day, the astronauts would need resistance exercises to force their muscles and bones to keep working. Without them, returning to Earth could become extremely difficult. But weak muscles would not be the greatest danger. Radiation would be far more difficult to escape. Earth protects you with a thick atmosphere and a global magnetic field. Together, they block or deflect much of the harmful radiation arriving from space. Mars has a very thin atmosphere and no global magnetic field. That means energetic particles can reach its surface much more easily. These particles can pass through the body, damaging cells and DNA. Over time, that may increase the risk of cancer and other health problems. A powerful solar storm could make the danger much more immediate. Future habitats may therefore be covered with Martian soil, surrounded by shielding, or built partially underground. Astronauts might spend much of their year living inside a protected habitat, unable to enjoy the planet through an ordinary window. On Mars, the safest home could be one where you rarely see the sky. Then there is the dust. Martian dust is incredibly fine. It could cling to spacesuits, enter airlocks, cover equipment, and eventually find its way inside the habitat. Researchers are investigating whether its small particles and chemical components could irritate the lungs, eyes, and skin. This is not something astronauts could simply solve with a broom. Every trip outside would require careful procedures to prevent the exterior environment from coming back inside with them. And outside the habitat, one small failure could become fatal. Mars's atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide and is only about 1% as dense as Earth's atmosphere at the surface. You could not breathe it. Without a pressurized suit, you would quickly lose consciousness from the lack of oxygen. Temperatures can also become brutally cold, although the exact conditions depend on the location and time. So most of your year would take place inside sealed rooms. The same walls, the same equipment, the same small group of people. You could not step outside without preparing a spacesuit. You could not open a window. You could not take a walk through a forest or feel rain on your skin. Even speaking with someone on Earth would be different. Depending on the positions of the planets, a message could take several minutes to travel in one direction.
A normal real-time conversation with family would often be impossible. If an emergency occurred, the crew could not wait for Earth to make every decision. They would need to diagnose problems, perform medical procedures, and repair critical equipment themselves.
Isolation, delayed communication, confinement, danger, and repetitive surroundings could all affect mood, sleep, concentration, and relationships between crew members. A year on Mars would test the mind as much as the body. And then, after surviving all of this, you would face one final challenge: coming home. You would spend months traveling back in near weightlessness. When you finally reached Earth, gravity would feel overwhelming. Your heart and blood vessels would need to readjust to keeping enough blood near your brain while you stood upright. Your balance system would be confused. Your muscles would suddenly need to support your full weight again. You might feel dizzy. Standing could be exhausting. Walking without assistance might be difficult at first. Rehabilitation could take weeks or months, depending on how your body responded to the mission. So, would 1 year on Mars destroy the human body? Probably not, especially with exercise, shielding, careful habitat design, and medical support. But it would change the body. The greatest mystery is whether Martian gravity is strong enough to preserve human health over long periods. Until people actually live there, no experiment on Earth can give us the complete answer. Mars may become humanity's second world, but the first people who live there will not simply be exploring another planet. They will be participating in one of the largest biological experiments in human history. And Mars still has a surface beneath your feet.
Tomorrow, we travel to a planet where there may be nowhere to land at all: Jupiter.